How to find a good secondary school. Hello and welcome to Videojug. Choosing a secondary school for your child can be a nerve-wracking process. Rafe Lucas knows all about that. As a parent of 3 children and editor of the Good Schools Guide, he's an expert in finding, choosing and applying for schools. We asked for his advice on finding a good secondary school. Step 1. Plan ahead. Thinking about secondary schooling as early as possible, even before your child starts primary school, will give you the best chance of getting them into the school you want.
Secondary schools will generally come with the primary school in the state sector. You're looking at schools which will select geographically where you have chosen for a primary school will have a secondary school allocated with it. You should, when you've been thinking of where you should live generally, if that's the decision you've taken, have looked at what the secondary schools are like. So you've probably taken the decision some long while before that this is an area we like because the secondary schools are good.
Step 2. Do your research. Make your choice as educated as possible by finding out as much as you can about secondary schools in your area. Your local authority is a great place to start.
Look for the local authority's brochure on secondary schools. They give you a lot of information about where the school is, how many get in and where they get in from. So that's the basic starting point. You've got lots of ways of finding out if a secondary school is good because they're starting to produce real examination results. They're starting to include pupils that you can talk to almost as an adult. So look at the Ofsted reports, look at the examination results, look at the prospectus. You can gather from that, and particularly from analytical sites like the Good Schools Guide, how well a school is doing against its peers, against any objectives that you set for the school. Are the physics results good if your child is a budding scientist? Has it really got strong drama? Is the music enticing? There's a lot more information there to look at.
Step 3. Visit the school. The only way to find out what a school is really like is to pay a visit and get a feel for how the school operates. Most schools have open days, or you might be able to arrange a personal visit.
Look for the things that you really care about. Whatever it might be, it'll be something that just happens to appeal to you or your child or to be important to them. Make sure that they're things that are freely talked about, are freely supported. If your child is someone who is likely to be bullied, you want to hear lots of stories about bullying being solved, about how easy it is to tell people how you feel, about how supportive the teachers and the other pupils are. If that's what's really happening in a school, you'll get told those stories without having to prompt too much. So you need to be out there and listening for what you care about and not allowing yourself to be focused by the school on whatever they think their particular high points are.
Step 4. Talk to the children. The pupils at a school are likely to be frank in their opinions and much less concerned with a sales pitch than members of staff. When you visit a school, therefore, speak to the children and ask them how they feel about the school.
If something is really good, then the pupils will be enthusiastic about it. It's what they will talk about as you go around the school. If you ask them who their favourite teachers are or what's really well taught here, they will tell you. They won't so much tell you about the bad ones because pupils, and when you're visiting a school, they will tend to be loyal about it. But if you ask them what's good and then note what's missing, then you probably get an idea of where the less good teaching is. A lot of schools will say that they have an enormous range of extracurricular activities, and you will get their prospectus and they'll list 40 or 50 after-school clubs. But how often do they run? How many people do them? How hard are they to get into? You'll be being shown around by children or have some access to children. Ask them what happens in a particular area. Is the rock climbing good? Is there someone here who knows about it? And just inquire of the pupils. And that way you will get a feeling for how good a particular extracurricular activity is.
Step 5. Know your child. The most important factor in choosing a school is making sure it's a place where your child will thrive. This relies on you knowing your own child and getting an accurate sense of whether a particular school will suit them.
You start with a real understanding of what your child is like, particularly their character, because it's how a school is going to respond to what your child does in that school, whether they're studious, whether they're disruptive, whether they like to play the fool, whether they really need inspiration or discipline to make them work. Is the school set up for that kind of child? Schools' characters differ a lot, particularly in that kind of area. You should listen to your child. You should involve your child. You should take what they say into account, because they will be telling you things about a school you don't sense anymore, particularly if you're taking your child around with you. They will be getting a feel of how they as a personality will fit in with the personality of the school. That will come through to them much more directly than it will to you. If you choose on that sort of basis, then you are going to be giving yourself the best chance of making a good choice.
Done.